So I suppose let's just start taking the top of the engine off.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. The 350. 350 is here. In the last episode, you remember that we figured out there was a cooling issue with the car. The fans weren't turning on at all. I was scouting Facebook and I was actually getting really worried that I couldn't find a set of fans. And shout out to Sam on Facebook. He literally lives about half an hour from me. He's got a 350. He said he's got a set of fans. You can have them. So Sam, you're an absolute legend. So we've got some fans here. He believes they are working, but literally from what I found, these fans are just terrible in this car, and it's the motors that go inside them. But nonetheless, we've got a set of fans here, and I've actually found a very fun, interesting way that this car self-diagnoses itself, and I really want to try that out as well. Once this is on, we can actually start thinking about getting the car to an MOT and then actually having it on the road and taking it for a drive. We still need to do so much more to it, but as long as we just get it where it's actually driving and not a paperweight sat out here, that'd be great. So let's install this fan and do that weird little self-diagnostic thing.
So I've just dumped all the stuff in there. The good thing is that with this self-diagnostic thing, the way I would have done it, I would have had to run the car, put the car back on, and then press the aircon and see if the fan's actually working. That would have meant I would have to put all the intake back together, basically everything back on the car, and then if it weren't working, I would have to take it all off again. But this self-diagnostic thing, we can literally just plug the fans in and just do this self-diagnostic test, and it's going to tell us if the fans are working without having to bum everything back up again. So we have the set of fans here. It did have a wiring loom on it, but we've just chopped that off. Well, we've just took it off. Because we've got the wiring loop on the car, and we're literally just going to come and plug it in and just leave it hanging. So I actually used the old wiring off my old fans because I know that that was getting power at the plug. So let's just use what we know works. Now let's slide these fans back in. Okay, so the fan's on. It's bolted up, not perfectly bolted up, but it is bolted up and it's plugged in. So here comes the fun part. Okay, so I've only watched this online once, but I may have to watch the video again because I might get it wrong. So apparently, we turn the ignition onto the on switch, we press this door 10 times, we turn it off then back on, and it goes into a BCM reset. The horn should beep once as soon as I turn the key back on its own, and that's like a indication that it started. So we've got to run to the on position. Let's just turn these wipers off first, turn everything off. Let's just start again. So, on position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Off then on. Okay, that didn't work. Maybe I've done it wrong. Okay, my horn didn't beep, but as you can see, it's doing things. The wipers have just gone. So I think now it's the rear lights that do something. Yeah, rear lights are flashing, you see that? And the front lights should flash. So mine didn't, yep, okay, xenons are turning on. So this is just doing a BCM test, so everything that's been controlled by the body control module, it goes through everything. So now the high beams are going, and it's just going through everything. So it's gonna start opening, gonna start clicking in here, so I presume it's gonna start opening the throttle and stuff. But the fans, hear that clicking? Don't know what that is, but something's clicking. And in a second it should, yes! 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 The fan, yes! Yes! So mine didn't beep, but the fans are working. Yes! Right, absolutely buzzing. So now let's just put the car back together, and we are just going to do a quick spark plug change before we crack on. Oh my god, feel how horrible it is. I say quick spark plug change. V6 spark plug changes, not entirely sure how easy it's going to be with them being here, but we'll have a look. Let's just get all the fan back on. Right, so the fan is on and the lines are on. It's just a cable tie, couple things at the bottom. I'm not going to put the airbox back on and stuff yet because I feel like we're going to have to take this intake pipe off, and we're going to have to take this off to get to the spark plugs, as I can just see the cold packs here. So there's going to be a lot of things, going to be quite a decent amount of fucking wiring I'm going to have to move out of the way to get to them. But I'm going to take this brace off because I know for a fact it's going to get in the way. There is just literal wiring And then this, so that you think that this wiring just moves out the way. No, it's attached all the way around the back as well. So this wiring is going to have to stay there. I'm going to try and wiggle the coil packs out of there. Cable tie there, cable tie. Cable tie, cable tie, cable tie, cable tie. What the hell? Just, Jesus Christ, so complicated. What the fuck is this thing? So somewhat move it out the way of the coil packs. There we go. There's one coil pack, which feels very flimsy. Hopefully I can grip them. So after pulling the spark plugs out of this side, I could see a little bit of oil. Not so much in the threads of the tips, but definitely in like the spark plug well. I have just had a quick research, and apparently some people say it's common on this side of the engine due to the topping up of the oil. But also some people say it is the valve cover. And obviously if we're going to change the valve cover, there's going to be some spark plug seals at the bottom there, so it's highly likely that it's going to be the valve cover or the spark plug seals. And if I'm going to do that, I may as well do the other side. But for the time being, we'll take the other side and we'll have a look at them and see if they're the same. But I think, because it's running fine, it's not losing oil, it's not mixing coolant, it's not smoking, so I don't think oil's getting into the combustion chamber. Otherwise you would tell straight away when starting it up, and especially revving it, which I have been doing. I think it's either just been leaking in here, because it is wet around here with oil. Can you see where it's been wet with oil? I think it's either leaking in there or the valve cover seals are gone. So I think it's going to be a new valve cover and spark plug seals. But let's just get the other ones out. So we've got all the plugs here. Some of them are dry on that side, some of them are totally dry, and some of them are a bit wet. I think that as it's getting towards the rear of the car, they start getting wet. All the tips are dry, so it says to me that there's nothing inside the cylinders. It's just, I think oil's just getting through the valve cover or the spark plug seals, and it's just getting into the spark plug well. So I suppose let's just start taking the top of the engine off. To be fair, we're probably most of the way. We even have to disconnect the fuel pressure regulator just to get one of them coil packs out. So we're pretty much most of the way. So I'm just going to take a picture of most things for now, because here is where it potentially starts getting quite forgetful, especially since we've got nuts here, like a nut there, and I'm just going to start taking pictures of everything just so I know where kind of everything goes if we do get stuck. So once you took all them 12,000 bolts out, I've just got a bit of a hammer and just whacked it on this side just to free it up, and then this. But what the hell is this literally just in there? What the fuck? I think there's a couple of lines at the back. Is it? Oh, it's a cable and a throttle body. Yeah, I need to get that line off the back. There's actually there's a line here just underneath the throttle body. It's not easy to work on this. There is literally no room for activities. It's just so many clips. Right, so now we can just take these one bolts out, and then we should be able to get the rest of the plenum off, and then we should be able to start seeing what we need to see. Again, 1,000 different fucking cables and lines in the way. Right, these are going to go straight down into the cylinder, straight down to the valves. So we're just going to cover that with a t-shirt or some shit. Hang on. So now we've got pretty good access, and now it actually looks like a V6. This is what most V6s look like without all that shit in the way. So we're going to have to try to find some of the gaskets. I have had a quick look online, and they're not cheap. Most rock cover gaskets, that's what it is, basically a rock cover gasket. Most rock cover gasket sets are like maybe like 30 quid, maybe 30, 40 quid. These are about £200. I'm going to ring Bennett's, which is a car shop around the corner, and see if they can get me a valve cover set, because a valve cover is just a valve cover. It doesn't have to be specifically OEM. Well, hopefully not. But I'm going to give Bennett's a ring now, see how much they can get a valve cover set in for, and then we're going to start pulling these off and just getting it ready so that when they come I can just put it on, put it back together. Okay, so we're in a bit of a predicament here. Go on to the FIFA, like, you know, some of the websites like Talken, etc.
who do 350Z things, they've got gaskets for £200, which is an absolute joke for a fucking piece of rubber, absolute joke. So I've ringed the shop near me, they've got the gaskets in for £18, but they don't come with spark plug seals. And I can't get spark plug seals anywhere for some reason. But then I've read online that apparently they're built into the gasket. So, after doing some research, it's not good. So you can place the gasket covers really easily. The spark plug seals are a one unit with the cam cover itself. They're built into the cam cover. You can't change the spark plug seals unless you get brand new cam covers. The reason the Torken ones and stuff come with them is because there is a way of cutting them out with a Dremel and sealing them back in, but you apparently, so a Nissan specialist need to do this. I might be wrong. I've also realised that this is a very, very, very common issue, and a lot of people have oil in the spark plug wells, and what people have said on the website is, referencing what they've said, it doesn't cause any issues down the line, just put up with it. That's what people have been saying on the Nissan forums and stuff, so I don't really know what to do right now because the valve covers themselves aren't leaking. I was only going to change the valve covers because obviously I'm taking it apart to change the spark plug seals, and if I take them off, the valve, they're actually not even leaking anyway. So I really don't know what to do right now. I kind of just said to put all back to bed because it's a fucking drift car, and so what, just send it. Okay, so for messaging some people and ringing some people with 350Zs or had 350Zs, apparently that's happened to them, and apparently that is right. You can change the spark plug seals without going through a massive hiss fit of shit, and people just tell me to just don't even bother touching them, honestly, because they're apparently a pain. So this was great, and decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to bang the new spark plugs in and fucking carry on, because what we're not doing is we're not going to get into the same thing of the S13 of fixing every damn thing and spending so much fucking money on this car that I'm not going to want to bin it. Let's just put the new plugs in. Most people in the forums have said to me it's fine, mine leak, just it doesn't cause any issues down the run, down the line, just fucking leave it and just keep checking the oil and blah 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 blah. That's what we're going to do. Is that, look at this side, it's like literally dry as anything on this side, and it's not leaking down that side. I think it's just where people have been topping up, because you can see it's really dirty around here, and then it gradually like spreads out and stuff. That's just coolant there where all this water is there, so don't worry about that. But this is where it's like the dirtiest, and I think it's just where it's been topped up and it's just ran down here. Right, so what we're going to do now is put it all back together. So we can see the difference between them there, much newer, much nicer. Okay, now that is everything back together. We've got no bolts left over as well. It's like the first time I've ever done a job with no bolts left over. These are just for the big strut brace, which is there. And also, what I've just realised is that bit of paper in the side of the plenum, that was because there's been no air filter on there. And imagine if that got sucked through the plenum into the engine. That would have been engine gone, boys, probably. On a serious note, I can't actually believe how smooth and quiet this engine is. I mean, like, so this, don't forget the mic is on there. This is the mic on me. And I'm whispering right now. I'm actually whispering. Can you hear what I'm saying? I'm whispering over the V6. So quiet, like, seriously so quiet. And like, even like underneath, like near the sump and stuff, like, so quiet. I'm whispering again right now. Can you hear me? Okay, so it's driving, he's now got a fan. And I think now, I mean, I've had as best as I look around the car for anything that would fail an MOT. And I've had a look as best I can on jack stands, and I don't actually think it will. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to MOT station now and see if they can book me in for maybe either tomorrow or at the end of this week. And then if it does fail and stuff, we'll just fix them things it's failed on. But looking at it, I actually don't think it will fail on anything. It might get like maybe a minor for some of the brackets being rusty and stuff, but the actual chassis itself isn't rusty. They might find something different when it's up on the ramp and stuff, but I think it will actually either pass or just get minus. I don't think it's actually going to fail on anything. So yeah, it's going to be in this video here, guys. I hope you're enjoying the content with the 350. I'm going to keep an eye on them spark plug wells
If it does get pretty bad and I am losing a bit of oil, or it starts missing, or I take a spark plug out and it's just full of oil. Don't forget, them spark plugs have been sat in there for years. I don't know how long that oil's been leaking in there for. It could have just been sat for like absolutely years. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. If it is pissing in there, then we may just have to have a look at getting some new cam covers or something like that. But for the time being, let's get an MOT, let's get a roadworthy, and let's take her for a drive. So I'll see you in the next one, and how do you think she's going to get on? I'll let you know.